Hey guys, thank you for tuning into AmysCrypt. Today I'm going to take you to LA to visit some very famous filming locations from horror movies. I'm going to be covering some awesome franchises like Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and a lot of other great horror movies. This comes just in time for October, spooky season, and Halloween 2018, so let's jump right into our first horror movie location with A Nightmare on Elm Street. I am super excited to share some filming locations from A Nightmare on Elm Street, as it is my favourite movie of all time. Now, we all know the story: creepy burnt man haunts and kills teens in their dreams. I have to admit, Freddy Krueger has some very scary moments. The first location we'll be visiting is perhaps the most iconic from A Nightmare on Elm Street, and that is Nancy's house. This is where our heroine lived in the movie and where the film's climax and final showdown takes place. When I visited, a neighbour approached me and told me that the previous owner of this house would deck it out for Halloween, dress up as Freddy Krueger, hide in the front yard to wait for kids to walk past, jump out and scare them. What a legend. Just like in the movie A Nightmare on Elm Street, Nancy's boyfriend's Glenn's house, who is played by the cutest little Johnny Depp, sits directly across the street. This house is most memorable for perhaps Freddy's most gruesome kill in the film. Here's the high school the kids attend in the film A Nightmare on Elm Street. You might also recognize this location from films like Pretty in Pink and the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And here's the bridge in the Venice canals where Nancy and Glenn meet to talk and chat about dreams, booby traps, and survival.
I'm into survival.
But where is Freddy's boiler room? This is probably the scariest filming location within A Nightmare on Elm Street, and it is made that much scarier to know that that boiler room exists within an abandoned, allegedly haunted former prison. Now, this prison is known as the Lincoln Heights Jail, and although unfortunately I couldn't get inside for a look, others have managed to, and it really looks like this place has retained its creep factor over the years. Moving on to our next film, but keeping within the Nightmare franchise, brings us to A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, which is likely the best of the Nightmare sequels and my personal favourite. This horror movie sees Freddy return to terrorize teens at the Westin Hills Psychiatric Hospital. Now, this horror location was actually formed from part of the UCLA campus, and there's a lot of cool scenes centering around one building. Most notable is one death scene where Freddy uses his victim as a puppet from the great height of one of the building's towers. Another great 80s horror film is Night of the Creeps.
Night of the Creeps. If you scream, you're dead.
In this one, teens are terrorized and have their prom night spoiled by alien slug zombies. The main frat house used in this film is still standing, and although it has had extensive modifications, it's still a really cool place to visit, especially since it centers heavily in the film's climax and explosive ending. Our next filming location is a stunningly unique and well-known house in Beverly Hills. It was used in the filming of 1957's The Undead. In this movie, you can just spot the house peeking out behind heavy fog, which was making up part of medieval scenes set in the Middle Ages. These occur after one of the film's characters is sent back in time to when she was to be executed for witchcraft in a previous life. The house is best known as the Spadina House, or sometimes even the Witch's House, and the Beverly Hills landmark is probably most notable to most as featuring in the movie Clueless. Now, before we get to our final horror movie filming location for the original Halloween movie, I wanted to share some other notable horror locations that aren't exactly from horror movies, but I believe they're worth mentioning as they are pretty iconic in themselves. First up, we have the murder house from the television show American Horror Story. This house definitely looks creepy, and whether you love or hate American Horror Story, the show definitely has some scary moments. Next up is from another television show, Charmed. And although it's debatable whether this show fits into the horror genre, there is definitely some dark themes involved in the show.
Indeed.
And the Charmed One's house is certainly a recognisable landmark. Finally, just a couple of doors down from the Charmed house, we have the Michael Jackson Thriller house. And the best part about visiting this filming location is that the house is still in perfect, spooky, haunted house condition. Now to move on to our final horror movie filming location from 1978's Halloween. Here are some snaps from my visit. Our first stop is from that infamous hedge scene, and I couldn't resist visiting to try and reenact that famous Michael Myers peekaboo. And I'm sure over the years many horror fans have also visited this location to do the exact same thing. This list would not be complete without a visit to the very iconic Myers house. This house features in the opening of the Halloween movie and is where Michael Myers makes his first kill as a child. The house has actually moved location since the time of filming, but it remains intact and is still a really cool place to visit. The last Halloween filming location I want to present to you is Laurie Strode's house. And although this isn't the most iconic of the Halloween filming locations, it is made very cool to visit by the person who owns the house. When I visited, they welcomed me onto their property to take pictures, and they also keep a year-round shrine on the porch for horror fans to check out. This contains screenshots of the house in the movie and a collection of plastic pumpkins which horror fans can grab and pose with in the very spot that Jamie Lee Curtis sits with a pumpkin in the movie. It's really cool. The lady who owns it also yelled out to me as I was leaving, "Have a happy Halloween," when I visited sometime in mid-July. She is just awesome. If you want to visit any of these locations yourself, I'll leave some info in the description below for you. Just remember that a lot of these locations are private residences and you should always avoid trespassing and disturbing the occupants. Thanks for watching and visiting these horror movie filming locations in LA with me. I hope that you enjoyed this list. If you did, please remember to like this video. Let me know if you've ever visited any horror filming locations yourself or what your favourite horror movies are in the comments below. If you want to check out more creepy places all around the world with me, then make sure to hit subscribe too. This is AmysCrypt. Until next time, stay spooky.